In recent years, the term sustainability has become a focal point of discussions across industries. But what does sustainability truly mean in the tourism and hospitality sector? More importantly, how can businesses effectively balance environmental responsibility with profitability? At the Industry Forum of the International Travel Expo Hong Kong 2025, Hong Kong Metropolitan University proudly hosted a panel discussion on the sustainable shift, where purpose meets profit in the tourism and hospitality industry. Before the discussion, Dr Nafiseh Rezaei, senior lecturer at the Li Shao Key School of Business and Administration at HKMU, delivered an insightful keynote speech titled Destination Sustainability: How Hong Kong Consumers Across Generations View Tourism's Impact.
Good morning. I'm Dr Nafiseh Rezaei, and today I'm very honored and happy to share some part of our research about sustainability on behalf of our research team in HKMU. As all of us know, tourism in Hong Kong rapidly recovered after the pandemic. So last year, we had more than 44 million tourists visiting our city. And during the first 4 months of this year, we had more than 16 million tourists in our city. So now is the right time to talk about sustainability. Because all of us know that sustainability means meeting our own needs without compromising the ability of the next generation in meeting their own needs. And our conventional understanding of sustainability is about the three main pillars of society, economics, and environment. But recently, a group of scholars in another universities did some investigation and added two more elements into the sustainability dimension, which are political or governance and technological. So by adopting their new updated scale, we conduct this research with the purpose to measure the residents' perspective on Hong Kong's sustainable tourism development. So the sample of this study was, or should I say is, because it's an ongoing research, ITE visitors. We could collect more than 400 respondents in May of this year. So these data show us some interesting findings. So we understand that from the Hong Kong consumers, sustainability can be about the three main factors. So please allow me to briefly explain them. The first factor, which we call it eco-responsiveness perspective, includes 9 indicators representing mostly the environmental sustainability, such as tourism in this destination raises environmental awareness among residents. The second factor, which we call socio-economic sustainability, includes 8 indicators, which represent economic and socio-cultural sustainability. So that is very interesting that from the Hong Kong consumer's perspective, these two pillars of sustainability are very correlated. For example, they believe tourism brings economic development to this destination under the same category of tourism promotes better understanding between cultures. And factor 3, which we call it a smart governance orientation, includes 8 indicators, which mostly represent governance and technology sustainability. So it's another interesting result that from the Hong Kong consumers, these two aspects, the new added elements of governance and also technology, are also under the same category and very highly correlated. For example, they believe the government provides different sort of information to the residents using digital media, which can be in the same category of IT and technology application, promote sustainable and accessible development of tourist areas, and at the same time, enhance the quality of life of residents. So by using these 3 factors, we try to go deeper and understand if there are any different categories or segmentation among our sample. So we conduct the cluster analysis, and we realize that there are 3 distinctive clusters. As you see, they are pretty different in terms of different sustainability perspectives. So we call cluster 1 as sustainability optimist. As the name said, they are very optimistic about the sustainability in Hong Kong. So it means that they also have very high positive perspective about sustainability from all the 3 elements or aspects of sustainability. However, they're the smallest group and only 16% of our sample. Cluster 2, we call them community-centric because as you see, they only had the high positive perspective about socio-economic sustainability in Hong Kong. And from their perspective, sustainability in Hong Kong is pretty low from the 2 other aspects. And the last cluster, which is the biggest cluster because it is around 47% of our responses, we call them concerned observers because they had a very low perspective about sustainability in Hong Kong in terms of all 3 aspects of this concept. We try to go deeper and see what is the profile of these respondents or these clusters. And we look at the generation or age. And we find out another amazing result that, however, we have different generation in all these 3 clusters. Cluster 2 can be more belong to generation X, which is the community-centric. And millennials mostly represent concerned observers. And generation Z, which is very interesting, they are pretty different among themselves. Some of them have a very optimistic perspective about sustainability in Hong Kong, and they belong to sustainability optimists. And some of them are pretty pessimistic or have a negative perspective about sustainability in Hong Kong and belong to the concerned observers. And we try to go even deeper and dig into our data and find if there have any special differences in terms of emotional experiences. And we realized that, oh wow, so fascinating. There is a high correlation between the clusters in terms of their sustainability perspectives and emotional experiences, to the point that cluster 1, which is the sustainability optimist, which has very positive idea about sustainability in Hong Kong, they also experience higher level of positive emotion, such as feeling proud of tourism in Hong Kong or getting inspired by tourism in Hong Kong. And moving to the concerned observers, they experience lower level of positive emotions about tourism in Hong Kong. But as I said at the beginning, it's ongoing research. We don't want to stop here, and we want to dig more into this concept because we are passionate about sustainability. And I'm sure you're also passionate about sustainability. Because of that, now I want to call for your action to help us shape the greener future by scanning this QR code and responding to our survey. Thank you.
Now we move on to the next exciting segment of the event, the panel discussion. Joining us are distinguished experts and thought leaders from the tourism and hospitality industry. Let us welcome Dr. Nafiseh Rezaei, keynote speaker and senior lecturer at HKMU. Ms. Gloria Chang, non-executive director at Horwath Consulting Services, Asia Pacific. Mr. Till Kraemer, Director of Intercultural Education and Co-founder and CTO of Storius. Mr. William Lee, Hospitality Financial Advisor. And Ms. Swarnika Thapa, a Year 3 student pursuing a Bachelor of Business Administration with honors in International Hospitality and Attractions Management at HKMU. Dr. Bella Vongvisitsin, Assistant Professor at the Lee Shau Key School of Business and Administration at HKMU, will moderate the discussion. Together, this esteemed panel will explore the challenges, opportunities, and strategies for aligning purpose with profit in the tourism and hospitality industry, offering diverse perspectives from academia, industry, and the next generation of leaders.
So let me kickstart our discussion with the first question. During this paradigm shift from profitability to sustainability, has your purpose also changed? And could you please describe how your purpose evolved in your career before and after the term sustainability comes into realization for you? So may I start with Ms. Gloria Chang, please?
When I saw this question, I'm looking back for the definition of sustainability. So I find it was quite narrow 30 years ago. So at that time, in the 1990s, when I started work, the term sustainability was not widely used. Then we just only talk about going green, energy saving, environmental conservation and protections. And then after 10 years, in the 2000s, the term sustainability become widely popular. So our company start thinking about what we can do as a consultant. So we partner with a US-based design firm, very famous WATG, and also one of the green association called International Tourism Partnership, ITP, to create guidelines, minimum guidelines to sustainable hotel development. We put it in one of the chapters in our studies. After 10 years, in the 2010s, because of the climate change, so hotel developer find it, there is a risk because some of the sites are really susceptible to the bad weather, hurricanes, rising water level for some of the resorts. And also they have to pay higher insurance premium, and then their valuation of their assets volatile. And also the tax increase, and then the maintenance cost increase. So they start to focus on energy saving. Most of the hotel right now has been doing very well on that. So we also started to keep track of the energy data to help them do the benchmark. Hotel already start looking into sustainability. So I see the change on that, but it is gradually progressive on that.
Thank you so much, Ms. Gloria Chang. So how about Mr. William Lee? Because you have been working for a long time as well, right? And then you might see the differences before and after the term sustainability come into your career.
All right, I can give practical example. Actually, all the hotel owners are looking after what we call profitability or return on investment or IRR, as Gloria explained. You remember about 2 years ago when the Hong Kong government brought in the idea of sustainable, like what we use, like plastic bags, the housekeeping use in the hotel, that is going to be recyclable. So this is a very environmentally friendly. Now, but the cost is high. It's pretty high. And that's why we act together with the Hotel Owners Association to have a petition to the government, see if we can delay it. Given the facts that the industry wasn't doing that well, the occupancy was not super high, and the average room rate was down. It wasn't a good timing to do it. However, it does not mean the hotel industry did not do anything. Like right now, if you go to a hotel, you want to take away some food and drinks. They're using recyclable, environmentally friendly cups, containers, even straws or paper straws right now. So we have moved somewhere along to support the government and sustain the SDG 2030. We are working towards it. Now, however, as a financial controller, what are you going to do? You're going to pay a little bit higher. I mean, a little bit is sometimes it's 200% of what we used to buy plastic or take away utensils. Right now is in wood or paper. We just can't do anything about it, right? You have to comply. This is the ordinance, this is the law. Now, as an experienced operator, what we suggest where we could save is, you mentioned about energy, right? This is exactly what I want to highlight today. We look into energy saving, especially in electricity and air conditioning. Now, I'll give you some hard facts very quickly. Think about if you raise the thermostat of the air conditioner high by 1 degree Celsius, what difference it makes? It saves your electricity by 3 to 5%. For example, say for a 780 rooms hotel I used to work, we pay $1 million just for at least $1 million in electricity. Comprise air conditioning, chill water, and those things. I would save 30 to 50,000 by just doing that. So that goes into profitability. It doesn't mean profitability and the sustainability works against each other. You just have to work smartly with the operators to do it. That's what I want to share. Yep.
Thank you so much for your insightful sharing. So let me go to millennial generation. Because our generation, as same as me, also serve as a bridge between our parents who are the very hardcore, hardworking generation, and also at the same time, we need to pass the legacy onto our younger generation as well. So let me hear your thoughts from Mr. Till Kraemer. How has your purpose changed before and after this paradigm shift?
Well, as we heard from Dr. Rezaei, the research showed that millennials are the most pessimistic. And I think there may be truth to that from my personal experience. I was born into what's exactly the right time when we realized that the old millennium development concept didn't work anymore. Sustainable development just started. But I think a lot of people from my generation were very pessimistic and cynical about the old way of doing things. I didn't grow up in a tourism sector, but even as a consumer of tourism, I observed the shift. I remember when I was young, I did not want to be a tourist like my parents' generation. I did not want to book a flight, go to a hotel and stay there. I wanted to backpack through India. In fact, that's what I did after university or during university. So even as a consumer, that was very different. The idea of doing things the way our parents and grandparents did it, which worked great for the economy and which we even learned at school, kind of screwed up our planet, told us, okay, let's do things differently. But we didn't yet have a mature concept. There wasn't any guidance. As we've heard from Gloria earlier, there was only a slow shift. Maybe some guidelines were coming out, but the narrative was somehow it doesn't work. So maybe you're going to do something completely different. Maybe give up on the industry altogether because there isn't a mature concept yet. ESG wasn't there. Triple bottom line just started. So I think for me, the takeaway was no one tells us what to do. Just do your own thing somehow. This is why I think I was more attracted to concepts of social entrepreneurship, doing something very grassroots from the ground up, and then slowly figuring out where things go. I think my personal purpose was probably inspired by my own travel experiences as a consumer of the tourism industry. I enjoyed meeting locals while sleeping on the train, backpacking from one city to another city. So it was this human experience factor that I think defined my purpose. So as a consumer of tourism, but also now as a social entrepreneur, instead of thinking of sustainability versus profit, I was just sidelining all of it and thinking, I care about human experiences. And if now we have a framework that turns them into a dimension of sustainability, great. But it was probably more escapism and like, let's do something different that helped me define my own purpose.
Thank you so much, Mr. Till Kraemer. Maybe next time we can go backpacking with you in the future. How about you, Dr. Nafiseh Rezaei?
I would like to refer to my personal life, which was mostly academia. So from my undergrad study, I was in tourism and hospitality. So when I look back to the time, I see that at the beginning, as also our esteemed speaker said, the most focus was on profitability. And we try to learn, or they try to teach us that we have to maximize the profit and see how we can offer exceptional experience to our guests. But I was lucky to be in the trend. And when I reached to the higher level of education, like during or before my PhD, we gradually talk more about sustainability, which give us a chance to have a critical thinking. So at the beginning, to be honest, I was a little bit skeptical about the research in sustainability that can be just a trendy topic, which is people don't just want to publish or get credit and they try to do research or add it to their teaching. But after a while, as Gloria, Till, and our speaker said, it is a gradual process. And I learned that I have to believe in it. So even if it's a tiny impact, it definitely has. So any research can have some impact on sustainability. And I learned that it should be part of our research. We cannot deny it. We have to do our job. And from the other aspect, as an educator, I see that I also have a big responsibility, which is also my passion, which is teaching the next generations about all these concepts. I understand that it's a true necessity to add it to our curriculum. And any course that we have should be linked to sustainability. But at the same time, we have to remember, I remind myself over and over that I should believe in it. It should be my value to follow the sustainability from different aspects of social equity, cultural preservation. And I think it's truly changed my perspective about different aspects of sustainability, that it's not only about environment, it's also about social and culture. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rezaei. I'm really echoing your voice as the academic fellow as well. So let me come to our student, because you were born with it as Generation Z. And then when you were born, like sustainability always already there. So how do you feel about what you have in our industry right now, given that you're also studying hospitality management? And then could you please also explain a little bit more on how do you develop your own purpose when you pursue your future career after graduation?
Thank you, Dr. Bella, for that question. So compared to the previous generations, I think if we define Generation Z, we grew up learning about climate change over tourism and how sustainability matters, because we can see we're actively living through it, where we can see in Hong Kong, it's getting hotter every month and every year. But we can see for our generation, I think sustainability isn't really just a niche market or just a trend. It's really a call for action that we need to step up. But I think for our generation, we deeply understand how sustainability matters. But for us, we learn it through our professors and when we're going through our bachelors. But I think that we just lack hands-on experience compared to the other generations in their workplace. And I think the industry is actually going through a really progressive state, as previously mentioned, that the companies in the industry, especially the hotel sector, they're trying to reduce their carbon footprint through renewable energy. And I think it's a very progressive state, because the hotel sector is showing that they really do care about the environment, and that we should not just care about how much profit we can make, but really make sure that the industry is able to uplift the environment. But for me, on the other hand, I think the main concern is about the social culture or the economic aspect, because I think I experienced that Hong Kong's culture is a little bit disappearing throughout the days, like the Cantonese opera theater called Sunbeam in North Point. It recently closed down, and I think that it's really important that we preserve this culture, because for our generation, Gen Z, we really value something authentic when we travel to somewhere else. And I think for my purpose in pursuing this industry, I really want to make Hong Kong more diverse. I want to be involved in this workplace where diversity is a strength for the companies. And for example, a hotel, there's a lot of local employees in the sector. We can also involve other people of different cultural backgrounds so we can be more diverse.
Thank you so much for your sharing from the Gen Z perspective. So now let me go back to our admirable hardcore generation. Mr. William, how do you see our industry can turn these opportunities for the sustainable future of our industry into your work? And then how do you think that we can make profit from the business perspective?
I definitely say it's workable. As I mentioned, SDG 2030, 5 years from now, it's not just a goal. We have an aim to achieve that. Even we might not 100% achieve what we wanted to, we do. Now, if you go back, it's very simple. Go back to a business mindset, profitability. Either you increase your revenue, and you have the cost associated with it. The revenue doesn't really goes up like double digit, as we see in 2017, 2007, that time. We have to reduce the cost. But do it smartly. I actually ride on this sustainability idea, like what we have done in the hotel, and we are continue doing it. If you go travel, you see a little card on your bag and say, hey, if you are staying here for 2 nights, you're not checking out tomorrow. If you want to change your bed sheet, please place the card down. If you don't do it, they just won't change your bed sheet. What it saves is the washing. Now, not the washing costs electricity again. Dryer, washer, and water. Also the chemical. The chemical used for washing your bed sheets, the towels, and those things do harm to the environment. But for people like Generation Z, when you come in, wow, this is very environmentally friendly. I really like it. I like the idea. That's what our General X-ray as a management on top should do. We should support and advocate it. All right? And as well as using plastic toothbrush and those things right now, we even don't give the toothbrush away. Plastic comes away. We buy the recyclable one, which is more costly, but we don't put it in the bathroom. But we put a tank card. If you need them, please call our housekeeping. Or right now, we use AI. Use your mobile. Now we're building on some apps when someone is doing it. So you press the button, we know which room 1016 wants it, we bring that over to you. Especially if you try to use rope. So I'm saying that hardcore generation, if you say X to Z, we have to bridge the gap. We have to cultivate. So when you go sit in the boardroom, tell your boss, hotel owners and management, I want to put in another 300% to buy the wooden comb to comb your hair. Cotton bud with a wooden stick instead of plastic. You're gonna not sell your idea. You have to sell them what you're gonna do, present the cost savings you have. That it turns into IOR. You might get the buy-in and get it done. So it will be happy for the Z generation because they support it. X generation, my profit is not going to be reduced because I support sustainability. And you can use it as a good PR for your hotels as well. You talk about sustainable finance, we talk about green bond and those things. Because right now, if you're a listed company, most hotels, the owners, the developers, they build building. And then they understand pretty well they may have damaged the environment. So they have the ESG, what we call compliance. You have to do a report. So I think it's compliance, and then you're starting the idea of environmentally friendly. I think it works. So I'm saying that this can do. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. So you think it's workable, and then I think with also the assistance from the technology can help to bridge that gap as well. So now let me ask Ms. Gloria Chang from your hotel development consulting perspective. If you could give advice for the hotels to turn these opportunities for their sustainable future, or they can make a profit from it, what should they start thinking, like when they need to work on something related to sustainability?
Actually, I want to defend the hotel industry. Actually, they are quite pioneer. I still remember 15 years ago in a high cap conference, maybe 20. So the Six Senses developer, the owner come on stage, start talking their luxury brand, no longer use plastic bottles. So, and then some of the audience thinking, oh, luxury is precious with environmental protection. For luxury hotel, you pay the premium, you get all the service and amenities top notch, right? You find it right now, most of the hotel group brands, so they not distribute bottles of water. They give you a nice refillable bottle. We find out that those hotel brands using those like environmental friendly label, when they using minimalist or recycle, upcycle furniture, and then they label themselves as green hotel. We find that it is quite welcome by the new generation. It promotes their image and it turns into profit. A lot of Hong Kong hotel and restaurant already start. They donate their food to the charities. A lot of hotel brands, they are already working on it, but it takes time. And also in terms of the energy saving, Hong Kong, based on our company research, we are still lacking behind for using renewable energy. That may be a big investment, but we are on the right track.
That's great to hear that, like how our hotel industry has been doing very well. So let me ask Mr. Till Kraemer again, because you shared previously that you were a little bit more pessimistic what have been done before, right? I'm not sure whether you have changed your mind after you hearing all this. Do you see any challenges or any rewarding aspects when you are trying to sustain your socially driven enterprise in this environment?
Okay, so I want to clarify that I already changed my mind years ago. Because I guess it's not just me, millennials also had to grow up and realize that seeing the world as there are environmentalists and then there are capitalists or consumerists and it's completely incompatible, that's not helping. That's not making the world a better place. And growing up also meant to see that, yes, actually we are all in the same boat. Actually, all humans more or less want the same thing. We all want to live sustainable lives. And ultimately speaking, it's just an alignment problem and a social norms problem. And as we just heard, actually, a lot of hotels pioneered sustainable development before a lot of other sectors. So in some sense, I already learned years ago that it's not about choosing the right side or fighting a fight between people who want to save the planet and destroy the planet. It's not about that at all. It's just about finding the right alignments and maybe finding or help to engineer the right social norms so that we all could capture the value that we actually already agree upon. And it's slowly happening. It's been happening over the years. I've seen it everywhere. I've seen it in Hong Kong. I've seen it in my home country of Germany. And I think we are continually going the right direction. Maybe my personal direction is more on the side of capturing value of human interaction and human experiences. We all have heard that the experience economy has been a thing for the last 20 years or so. And I have personally seen from my own businesses how a lot of hotels have also emphasized local community development a lot more, either by engaging the community directly or by helping visitors experience the local community around them. One of my companies has been working with a number of hotels in Hong Kong to help empower local community and tell stories and preserve heritage in the local community. And that's a thing that goes totally for sustainability, for sociocultural sustainability, but at the same time is also a great tool to say, hey, tourists also want to play a role, like everyone wants the same thing. We want to make the community better. We want to experience authenticity in the community. And the hotels want to play their part in it too. So actually, it's not a conflict between profit and sustainability. It's just finding the right model to align parties all together. And for me as a social entrepreneur, I've also felt that even though maybe you can think, oh, aren't there higher costs involved in running a business or running businesses and also impacting community? But no, not quite. You just have to find the right parties. You have to find the right alignment. For example, we work a lot with government grants because governments also wants to align with the same thing. We work with the education sector who also want people to learn to be more inclusive and to be more sustainable. So I would say I'm very optimistic right now. I think we're all moving in the right direction. And I'm actually quite excited for Gen Z to take the torch and to turn us all into a sustainable planet.
Thank you so much, Mr. Till Kraemer. Do you also see any challenges when you want to encourage other entrepreneurs to jump into sustainable mindset as well?
Of course, there are always challenges, but I think it's more about maybe breaking free from the traditional mindset. As I still think maybe some young people especially, they may still be caught in the same trap that I was caught in when I was just graduating from university. It's kind of like, do I choose one or the other? Do I choose to make money and be successful in a classic self-image? or do I choose to do something good for the planet and give up on all of my dreams? So I think the biggest challenge is more that some of those old norms still persist, and we have to figure out ways together to debunk this. And I think forums like this actually help. When even Gen Xers say that, hey, it's not a contradiction. We can make the world better at the same time as like actually measuring profits. So I think it's more of an education and a mindset challenge. But in terms of entrepreneurship, no, I don't think there's a big challenge. As long as we educate people together, as long as we talk across generations, I think that's what we need to keep doing.
Thank you so much for sharing. I think that will also goes back to our academic, because we serve the role of giving or tailor the education to actually break that traditional mindset as well. So I think this is something that we need to think about, like when we are the educators. So that's why I would like to ask Dr. Nafiseh Rezaei as well, based on your academic perspective, especially when you did the survey. Do you have any recommendations that you can provide to various stakeholders in our industry at the moment?
Yeah, sure. So I think I can say as generations that maybe we taught by Generation X and baby boomers, and then now we are teaching Generation Z. So we are kind of like bridging between these two, which can be a rewarding because it helps us to have a critical thinking. But what we also observe, and maybe the survey kind of like support this idea, that Generation Z, we have to be aware that they are the baby of technology. So when they just opened their eyes, we had the highest speed internet and social medias, and it made them kind of like the expectation that all changes should be happen very quickly. But as our speaker mentioned, that these changes is something that should be gradual, or what Generation X observe, it is gradual. And we need to just have the trust that it will happen. So what I recommend is that based on what we see, because as the people that we prepare Generation Z to go for work as an intern or later on as their full-time job, we observe these challenges in their mindset or in their perspective. And my recommendation is to see these differences. And of course, we cannot generalize it that all Generation Z like that, all millennial like that, all Generation X like that. No, but it's like what is the common trend? Our expectation from Generation Z should be a little bit lower from in terms of speed. Let them to see what we are doing. Let them believe that what we are doing, we believe it's good. So as Till said, that sometimes you can do just a little impact, just do it. And what I want to recommend is that give them the space to see, to trial, and understand that what you are doing is good. So maybe it's just about the bottle, it's about the towel, but it's impactful. And also give them a space to use the advantages that they had, which is technology, to also apply their ideas. So maybe this is the advantage that they had, maybe millennial, we had the internet or technology, not, of course we had internet from beginning, but the highest speed and technology when we passed the teenage age. But they are so faster than us. So it's just like understand our differences. And also when we want to deliver our messages, what we are doing in our company, in our organizations, might be we may need to also refer to these generational differences. That what grab their eyes or what they are looking for or what their concern can be different. Maybe our concern at the end is the same, our word, our city, our beloved Hong Kong, or the word, but maybe the word that they use is different. The way of expressing the idea is different, which is pretty natural. And we need to understand our differences, which also I recommend to the youngest to understand that we do our best as millennial, as Generation X, as baby boomer. We did our best. This is all we could do, and we are keep doing it. Just be with us, hand in hand. We can do better in future.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Rezaei. Now, our student, how do you feel right now? Do you think you feel a little bit more relief after you hear the perspectives from older generations? Right? After reflecting on the perspectives of our panelist speakers so far, what further support as a Gen Z? Right? Do you think that you would expect from these generations to foster a positive future for yourself or for Generation Z?
So thank you for that question. I think after listening to all the speakers on their views, I think for us, Gen Z, what we really need is a more industry academia collaboration where we can learn from open company visits so we can see how the management and what the previous generations have been really trying to uphold the sustainability in terms of when it started raising. And I think this opportunity for me to speak on behalf for this event is something that our generation should really keep on having these opportunities. It really open up our mind to the different perspectives and what we should really expect when we're going through this industry. And another expectation, I would say what we really need for the industry, as the previous generations seem to be really thinking that our generation can be the next step in shaping our future. I think that the industry should really believe in us by supporting and funding our innovations, because I think Gen Zers have a lot of different innovations to reduce carbon footprint, maybe using artificial intelligence for that, or to reduce food wastage. And I think the industry should really focus on supporting and actually listening to our voices and ideas. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And last question for you. What are the proactive measures that you would give to your generation in order to align our advocacy on sustainability from previous generation into our generation, your generation right now?
I think that in terms of the different aspects, personally, I really value about preserving culture. And I think especially Gen Z travelers, they're putting more focus on this, where they don't want to just look at very beautiful spots or the scenery in Hong Kong. They really want an authentic part of Hong Kong to take home. So in this context, I want to give an example where a few years back, I went to Belgium for a study tour. And in my free time, me and my friends went to a local market where we met a perfumer in Belgium, where he didn't just sell a scent to us. He really stole an experience for us by him storytelling and telling about his journey. And I think this is something that Gen Zers really value, where it's an impact on us, because after I bought the perfume, it's still sitting in my room. And whenever I look at it, I think about Belgium in a whole, where I saw a lot of different people and the places I went. And I think this is something that the generation really values. So I think the proactive measures we should do is really preserve the culture also in Hong Kong, because I think there's a lot of disappearing local arts, such as in social media, I've seen the mahjong tile carvers and the person who creates some family signature chops by hand. And I think also Cantonese opera is something that we can preserve. And this is something that's authentic to Hong Kong, where the Gen Zers can really take a part of Hong Kong, not just a souvenir, but really the lives of the local people here.
Thank you so much. And then actually, to emphasize on Gen Z perspective, let me promote our educational booth, because we also showcase our student work today as well. And then we have some students I see from the back. They will also use their assignments in this prestigious international exhibition as well. I would like to convey my appreciation to all of you that you spend your valuable time to sharing your insights and your experiences to the audience today. So thank you so much. Please give them a big applause, please.